So last year, this was around the time I did my first speaking event at a school called PACE here for troubled girls. And I stumbled upon my speech that I had wrote out, and I'm just gonna read it to you guys. I titled it Flowers Blossom. And I started off with, what ingredients do we need to make a flower, or to plant a flower? How long does it take a tree to grow? What does a plant or tree have under the ground after growing? So it needs a dark, damp place. It grows roots when it's in the ground, and it needs a seed to be planted. And it says, I wrote down, tell me some names of the projects. We're here in Florida, we're in Gainesville, so I'm gonna read off a couple of projects. Projects are the hood or the ghetto, what people call it, whatever, if you're not familiar with the terminology, projects. And tell me what all of the projects have in common. And then I said, projects normally have some kind of plant affiliated with its name. For example, Village Green, Forest Green. So then I said, a village is, if you can tell me the definition of a village. A village is a group of homes and associated buildings larger than a hamlet and smaller than a town, situated in a rural area. Self-contained district or community within a town or a city. Though villages are often located in rural areas, the term urban village is also applies when an urban neighborhood. Forest. Who can tell me what forest means? A large area covered chiefly with leaves and undergrowth. An area of land dominated by trees. The key word is dominated. You were made to dominate, and there is nothing impossible for you. So I started off with that, and then I began to have them name off the projects here. Tree Trail, Gardenia Gardens, Cedar Ridge, Majestic Oaks, Treetop, Sugar Hill, sugar comes from plants, Sweetwater Pines, Sugarfoot, Lytton Oaks, Tower Oaks, Oak Tree, and I can keep going. We can keep going. These are just the projects here that are in poverty, that are in the hood, and these are our projects just in this little area. And this is just some, to name a few. What if I was to tell you that you were a beautiful tree planted, and in due season, you will begin peeking through the ground? What if I was to tell you that you were created for such a time as this? See, I know deep pain. I know great sorrow. And I know how it is to want to scream, cry, and fight, and just be angry. You want to be loved, and it seems like love doesn't exist. You have a right to have anger, but it's amazing ways to use that anger. What if I was to tell you that the enemy is the enemy? Once you make up your mind to do something, that no one can stop you. You are worthy, you are valuable, you are loved, you are made for greatness. Impossible actually means I am possible, and that you can do anything that you put your mind to. Then I asked them, how does a star shine? Through darkness. Perhaps you were meant to face every challenge that you were faced with, because you are a star in the making. Dare to dream your biggest dream. I had them do a project after I did all of that. And I had this poster board, and I had crayons, and I told them to break the crayons. And I told them to break it again, and to break it again. Then I asked them to color for me, because broken crayons still color, and they still have a purpose. We can melt down the crayon and mold it back together again, and they will still be just like new, and color still. Broken crayons still color. Broken people can still be healed and be better and wiser and beautiful again. What the devil meant was to break you, but it only made you. You are about to be pushed into purpose. Broken crayons still color. So my homework for them was to get sticky notes and to write down, I am worthy, I am somebody. I dare to dream. I love me, and I can do anything. That's my homework for you guys. And that was my first public speaking. So, okay. So that was my public speaking, and I was like, okay, and everyone was really receptive to it. But I also wanted to add in something else that I didn't get to add in. And I asked what was a season, because we always say season, season, season. A season is a period associated with some phase or activity of architecture, such as growth or harvesting. A period in which animals engages in some activity, such as migrating or mating. The synonym of a season is a period, active period, time, or time of year, or term and phase. You want to add to it? Okay. What is the opposite of a season? To decline, to deter, or to fade. Decrease, die, halt, retreat, or to shrink. So, to circle back to everything, I know this was like everywhere, but to circle back, how do you shine? Through darkness. Through darkness. What do you want to add?
This shirt, just like she said in her notes.
Your only limit is you.
You are your only limit. You know, I know it's a lot of people probably on these channels and don't even realize that the network of people they're involved with. And life and society turn us against each other so much to where now it's just natural for us to be against each other. So now we got to take what was unnatural and bring it back to a natural state, which is love. Unnatural is envy, hate, strife, all those things that offend someone. It's unnatural. Natural is the things that we try to look for, but they teach you to be extraordinary, because you're not extraordinary, it's extraordinary. When you break it down, you realize that our life sometimes be just that, extra regular, so we try to get to a higher point because this is what society taught us to be. But our higher point is only what? The love of money, the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, the apple of the eye, the pride of life. See, when we look deep in ourselves and we start realizing that our only limit is us because we accepted the way the world taught us to be, to think and act, and we start participating in it, then when we realize that we start coming from among them, like the word says. So now we got to look within ourselves and understand what was our purpose of everything. Because see, everything in life, there's a reason and there's a purpose for everything. Some things we get the wrong reason, or we understand the wrong purpose, and we produce it to the wrong way. So now when we start looking at ourselves and realize that just because I'm a convicted felon, just because I'm a person that don't have no skills, no labors, no work, doesn't mean that I can't still learn. I don't have the ability to adapt. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter what you have. It matters what you think about yourself and how you're going to get up and keep on going. Don't allow the world to dictate your failure when you can go up in success. They'll tell you what you're going to be for the rest of your life. But look at us.
Look what God said you're going to be.
Look at us. Never got a record, never used drugs, don't do none of that.
No.
I done been through all that. Straight, just, it don't make no sense. But it made a lot of sense because God, the
but
path,
you also taught me about
the direction that God put us on equals God's purpose. Jonah, Joseph,
sure, you can keep going. Paul
was totally in the wrong direction, but still thought it was doing right because of the love they had, the honor, the respect they had to do what they did wholeheartedly and not separate themselves from it. But when they realized they're wrong, like God said, David was a man of his own heart, because when he realized he was wrong, he immediately went back and repented. He turned away from what he done. I ain't to say he turned away. Some steps take longer. Just like Paul, it took Paul 3 years to get together on the road to Damascus. 3 years to get all that together with Ananias, you feel me? And get his head and his mind together. But he got it together. It said when I was a child.
I thought as a child. Spoke as a child. When I became an adult.
I understood.
Oh, as a child. Yeah.
But when I became
an adult, I put away my childish things.
And so, until people understand their failures and what's not bringing them prosperity, then you're still a child. You have to know what's not right for you, what's not good for you, what's not prosperous. It says, insanity is doing the same thing over again, expecting a different result. We go through year after year after year, expecting a different result from the same thing. What was already failed. It's life in the streets. The things they teach us, the codes, the honor, the respect, all disrespected God. They taught you to be against God while you fall against yourself and others. Tighten up. Let's change this world. We are one.
I want to get your input on something, because this changed the way I thought about things. When I wrote in here and I said to the girls, the enemy is the enemy, what made you think about that?
What made me think about that? Because when I was young and not knowing the anointings over my life, but I knew God was there because then I prayed or asked for I had it. But on the other note, being in the projects, raised around friends who doesn't have a spiritual mindset or spiritual atmosphere, right? As in the homes. And when they leave from their homes, from tragic homes, going through so much tragedy, you know, poverty, a house that lack, inside and out, as well as the people of the house inside and out. Because it says, cleanliness is next to holiness. When we order or direct certain things in our life and put it in an order around us on the outside, it's just like showing us what's on the inside of us. And if people try to say, oh, brother, that's a lie. Jesus ran with
homeless and
everybody,
prostitutes and criminals and tax collectors.
And he stood. Which means you can too, no matter where you at. There's no excuse. None. Oh, Jesus was the Son of God. You're the Son of God. Oh, Jesus wasn't born a man. Jesus was born through Mary.
They ain't ready for this today.
Born through Mary. Flesh. Straight blood. Oh, he was full of the power. He was conceived by the Holy Spirit. You conceived by the Holy Spirit. When he died and you asked God for forgiveness, he planted in you. He had rebirthed you through the Spirit. Your change happened right then. It was instant. But the mind tell you, you got to take time to get there. You ain't got to take time to get nowhere. Jesus was here at one point, then he was there from John the Baptist, from John to Peter and to the other disciples, to the other people, gone. Your spirit do the same thing. You can sit right here in your living room and you can think about the people you love, and your spirit will warn, it will exhort, it will bring to your memory, it will empower.